Hello, everybody. I'm Megan Graham, and this is the Megan Graham Show. And I just wanted to come on here today and talk about what's been going on. It has been really challenging to show up because, as some of you guys know, I did have 3 Yorkshire Terriers, and I just lost my beloved Lola. So we've been processing that, and sweet little Alfie, who's actually right here in his little campies. He's such a good boy. So sweet little Alfie got sick after Lola passed away, and took him to the vet. He got treatment, and it didn't go away. So he was doing a lot better. He got some antibiotics and quite a few ozone treatments at our holistic vet, and his his antibiotics ran out. Hi, buddy. Do you want to sit right with me? Come here. You come and sit right with Mama. His antibiotics ran out probably last Thursday, and we went in to get a treatment with the vet on. He's so cute. He's laying on his back on Friday, and I was starting to hear a soft. It's okay, buddy. It's not good to lay on our backs when we have a cough. So he was starting to have a soft cough again, and I let them know on Friday when I went in, and I wasn't really sure if it was going to turn into a major cough or if it was just going to be a small thing. And by Saturday, Alfie had his hacking. You're being so funny. He wants me to hold him, but he's kind of like pushing away from me. So by Saturday, he had his full hacking cough back, and we wanted to bring him to our regular vet because I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but when you go to your regular vet, it's just they know your history. So everything seems to go a little bit more smoothly, and you don't have to explain every single thing about your dog. Also, because I try to take a holistic stance whenever possible, I prefer to go to our vet because she does both. And I'm not against doing both, by the way. You'll hear about this like in this segment. I definitely do both holistic and conventional for my dog. I am very grateful for conventional medicine. It's just not the only thing that I do. Hi, buddy. I love you so much. We have gotten extra close, by the way. Since Lola died, he sleeps always right next to me, that was Lola's spot, and Alfie has kind of taken over that spot, and he loves to be close to mommy. So Saturday, his cough was bad. Sunday, his cough was bad, and I really didn't want to leave him. So I just tried to keep him really quiet, and I didn't leave him by himself, and he was getting into some coughing fits. So I had my husband call first thing in the morning to make us an appointment, and it wasn't right away. It was kind of, we go to our vet all the time, and he was like, they can see you at 3. And I don't know, I know not all my viewers are women, obviously, but I feel like my husband sometimes underreports like symptoms or how bad something is if he calls somewhere. So I was like, what did you say when you talked to the vet? Did you say it was an emergency? Because at this point, he really needs to be seen. And he's like, I just said his cough was back. And so I called the vet and just said, I'm getting really worried about Alfie. Can I just come and sit until he can be seen? Even like I said, I'll sit for hours, but I just would rather he be at the vet because I'm a little worried about him, and it's been a couple of days and he's had this cough. So the vet was fine. They actually, once I called, they were like, just come in, we'll see you, don't even worry about it, because they didn't really know how much it was bothering him. And so I spoke to the vet, and we decided that even though he tested negative for valley fever, infection that you can get out west, and you can get it by breathing in, that affects you, and it especially likes to affect. It's okay, buddy. It's not a good idea. When he lays on his back, he starts coughing. Don't lay on your back. It makes it worse. I know. There it is. I know. Don't lay on your back. So he loves to lay on his back, and then he starts coughing. So we decided to treat him, to do a trial treatment for valley fever, which is he got an antifungal. It's okay, babe. He has not coughed. This is like it's poor little baby, but this is his first time coughing, and it's right when we're on YouTube, which is fine. He can cough away. It's a great thing about YouTube. It's okay. So he got an antifungal, which we hadn't done. I was avoiding giving him that. He also got another round of antibiotics. And so we already knew he had pneumonia. And we weren't sure exactly. And he also got an antifungal. So we we're going like, all the regular stuff because I'm willing to obviously throw the kitchen sink at it when my dog is really sick. He got both of those things. They also did an ozone treatment. If you're not familiar with ozone and what it can do for your pets, by the way, I just read a book on ozone for pets. And if anybody's interested, I can include the link in, I can change the video description and include it. If you love your pet, if you want your pet to have increased longevity, I would highly recommend reading this book about ozone so that you have a good understanding, because it is such an amazing thing. And the book is great. The book said basically ozone is not a miracle, but it does so much for the pets' bodies. And unfortunately, I really waited to do ozone until my pets were already having health issues. And one thing that I'll be doing differently for my puppy that we're going to get is doing ozone before there's issues to help with mitochondrial function, lowering inflammation, increasing circulation. This book is awesome and it explains what ozone does. And what I love about the book is that it explains that it's not ozone or conventional care. You can get ozone and it fits in really well with what you're already doing. So you can get antibiotics and ozone. Or as far as people are concerned, they can do, obviously they have to check with their doctor. So I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just explaining my basic understanding. If someone is doing chemotherapy, they can, if their doctor allows it, get chemotherapy and ozone. And many people experienced fewer side effects of the chemotherapy when they did the ozone. So we also did ozone. We had a good vet appointment. The vet said that we're going to see what happens. We're going to stop the antibiotics after 10 days. And if his cough comes back, we're going to keep doing antibiotics. So she said for some dogs, it can be up to 4 to 6 weeks of antibiotics, depending on how resistant the pneumonia is. So that's what's been going on with Alfie. And we came home from that appointment and he was doing pretty well. But when it was nighttime, his cough came back. And obviously, we're not just going to give our animals medicine and everything goes away, but it's still really disconcerting when you hear your dog hacking away and having trouble breathing. So I also spoke to the vet again yesterday, and they had me give him some painkiller for his throat because his throat is just I think it's just hurting him so much and it's making him cough more. So I gave him painkiller yesterday, which oh, by the way, you guys, you just have to see this just in case you also she probably won't like it. Is that you? Are you a good girl? Nay. She won't talk. I think she knows that she knows that I'm talking to someone. So she's being really shy. Are you a talkative girl? Nay? What's your name? Nope, she just won't talk. Usually she'll talk no matter what, but she's on her wheel, helps with her stress from losing Lola. So we'll see how he does, but I gave him painkiller. He did not cough. I think he coughed once for the rest of the day. The second he got painkiller, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of painkiller. Every time I've ever gotten it, if I've had a surgery or something, I've literally I've refused it or not filled the prescription because I just don't like to take it. But it really helped my dog. So that's one of those things where I have to have an open mind, even if it's not my favorite thing to use. I just want him to feel better. So he had painkiller at about probably 3:30. It's supposed to be an 8 to 12 hour window when you can give them painkiller again. And right around bedtime, I was a little bit worried about giving him more because it was right in that window. And he has a delicate little liver that doesn't really do well with a lot of things. So I gave him a little bit less painkiller. Not saying anybody should do that, but I was a little worried about giving him the full dose. And this morning, first thing in the morning at about 6 a.m, his coughing restarted. And so my husband took him and he got the painkiller and he gave him some, but without breakfast. So he's not feeling well now. So that's what's going on with Alfie. He's very perky still. He's very bright-eyed. His gums are the right color. He's still following me everywhere. He doesn't really want to eat. So I'm watching him like a hawk. I definitely if anybody else has lost a puppy and then having something like this happen on top of it, it's pretty stressful. So that is what has been happening with Alfie. And if you don't know, we are supposed to get another puppy, not to replace Lola, but the woman that I've gotten all of my dogs from is she has a litter right now, and she rarely has litters. She's not someone that's always having puppies, so she may not have another litter. She doesn't have another one planned for another 8 months. And that planned litter, you know how it is with really good show breeders, sometimes there's a litter and sometimes there's not. So I didn't want to wait. So we're getting a puppy, but I have not figured out when I can pick up the puppy. So he's probably going to be, I have to fly back to Boston to get him. So he's probably going to be a little bit older because I can't leave Alfie until he's doing really well. Because the interesting thing is, I would say 75% of what he's experiencing is obviously a real diagnosed illness, but it would appear that he also is getting separation anxiety if he's separated from me especially, but also my husband, and he has more trouble breathing. So I think it's like many things, just like people, their emotional state makes a big difference. And so he just has not been feeling well, and he's just getting a little bit of rest. And I don't want to leave him to go pick up his new brother when he's not feeling well. So that's the update on Alfie. By the way, if you guys are on, please feel free to say hello. I always love to hear from you. Also, I think I'm just going to talk about it in this live stream, even though this is about Alfie. I also wanted to update you guys. I know I came on and I was talking about ozone the other day, and most people are like, what's ozone? It doesn't mean anything to them. It didn't really mean much to me until I started learning about it from my holistic veterinarian. I had had a few treatments and I thought it was great, but it was not something that was convenient for me to do all the time. So I did a ton of research. I read a book on ozone for animals. I got a much better understanding, watched a ton of videos with a lot of the doctors that brought ozone over to the US back in the 80s. It was a bigger thing in Germany. And ozone has been around, by the way, since when antibiotics were created. And what basically happened is ozone was a pretty promising therapy, but when antibiotics were created, they were so convenient, and obviously they're amazing. I'm not putting down antibiotics. Like, this is yet another case where I'm extremely happy to have antibiotics. So anyway, ozone is one of those things. I could be wrong. It will probably never be approved by the FDA. It's not patentable, but not only that, it's just I don't know how to say it. It's not something that they'll probably ever be able to charge a ton of money for. So there's not going to be lobbyists and people to push it through. So if you haven't heard of it, I'll be posting more about it. After I saw what was happening for the animals and the fact that it was really helpful for Lola in her end of life, it helped with her activity, it helped with her just enjoyment of life. It was a really easy treatment for her to get that made her feel better while she was still alive. And that's her sister back there, Poppy. And so it was a great thing. And with Alfie, it's also been a great thing. So he's gotten a few different deliveries of ozone, and they've all been really helpful for him. So when I saw that, I just thought, okay, I've done so many things for my own health, and a lot of things have made a difference, but nothing has made the difference that I needed it to make. And I'm open to anything, but nothing had made that big of a difference. And so when I saw what happened with them, I read the book on ozone for animals. And veterinarians, if you don't know this, can say a lot more about certain modalities than human doctors can say. It's a super interesting thing, but I'm not exactly sure why. I think it's just a different sort of governing body that looks over veterinarians, and they have a little bit more freedom to speak about things that make a difference. So I decided, and if you haven't seen my videos, I decided to get my own ozone generator. And this is not something that everybody would do. So I'm not telling you, like, if you decide to do it for your animals, I'm not telling you should necessarily get an ozone generator. Maybe you want one, maybe you don't. I'm not going to be doing all of the treatments for my animals myself. I'm still going to take them to my holistic veterinarian for certain treatments, because there are just certain things I wouldn't be comfortable doing. It's one thing to do things for yourself because you know how you feel, but it's another thing to try to anticipate how your animals are feeling, since they can't speak. But anyway, I bought an ozone generator. It was about, give or take, $2,000. And for anybody that will say, oh my gosh, she just spends so much money on stuff and she just has an unlimited budget, I'm just going to say I don't. And this was a big investment. And this will probably, every couple of years, I buy myself something additional that's helpful that I can use at home for my health. And I, I wear this scoop neck top is old. My sweatpants I've had them for 5 years. So I don't buy a lot of new clothes. I do my own hair color. I do my own hair. I save money where I can and I buy things because my health is my most important thing to me. And I don't talk about it all the time, but my health started faltering 10 years ago. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good. And about 2 or 2.5 years ago, we lived in a house with black mold. And that was the turning point for me when I don't know why, but after I had lived in mold before. I had gotten sick from it and I always got better. And so when I left that house, I was like, great, I'll do what I always do and I'll get better and it'll be like, 3 weeks and I'll start seeing changes. And for whatever reason, that time was different. It might have been because I was older, it might have been because I had previous exposures. Like, I don't know why, but it was frustrating. And so, and it affected, by the way, Lola, Alfie, it affected the animals because animals, if you don't know this, if you have a water damaged home, your animals are probably more likely than you are to be affected by it. So a lot of times when I see people that are having like super strange health issues crop up with all of their animals, I usually know that they should probably get their home tested because it could have something to do with that. And no, you won't know that you have mold in your house. It is not obvious at all. It was not obvious in the home that we lived in. It was a very beautiful, freshly renovated home, the prettiest home I've ever seen in my life. A home that made me sick within 5 days of living there. And other people live there now, and we were renting this home. And obviously, legally, we can't tell the people that live there. But I always think, oh my gosh, my husband and I literally talk about how bad we feel knowing that other people live in that home and that they will probably have deleterious health effects and have no idea of why they feel so bad. They'll just think it's aging. So I lost my health, and you just kind of start spending your money on health. If you lose your health, you want to feel better. And so I bit the bullet. And what I wanted to tell you guys is I bit the bullet. I got the ozone generator. I got it about a week ago. And maybe not a week ago, maybe 5 days ago. The setup was a beast. And by the way, I think I put the link to the one that I have in here. I know most people aren't going to buy ozone generators, but if you do, this one is awesome. So the downfall is that the company sent it out and like they didn't really give good directions. My husband was like, "Where's the directions?" And I'm like, "No, but there's not really directions. There were some general directions, but there wasn't even a list of the parts telling you this is what this is, put this together. If you're doing this treatment, use this." I had to work with ChatGPT and take pictures of the stuff and figure out how to assemble it. And there were some videos which said some stuff, but it was like 2 hours to put it together instead of what should have been like 30 minutes. But what I wanted to say, I've been on the fence, and yes, this was a big purchase, and yes, I financed it. So I'll be cutting back the little bit of spending that I do. I'll be cutting back to be able to pay the payments for the next 18 months. But what I wanted to tell you guys is, so I am doing ozone treatments on myself I'm going to do them for 3 weeks straight. And obviously, if I don't feel well, I'm going to stop and take a break and let my body catch up. But I've heard a lot of good things. And for those of you that don't know, I have Lyme disease. I think I've had it for a very long time. I grew up on a horse farm. I've always had some little funny underlying things. And I have other stuff like sensitivity to chemicals because I worked with chemicals, just a bunch of different stuff that happened, a lot of autoimmune stuff. And I can't even tell you how excited I am because I've used this machine, and once you know how to use it, it's easy to use. I've used this machine for like, I think 5 treatments now, 4 or 5 treatments. And the difference, it's like, and it's not placebo, but I guess I could say it's placebo if that would make, the internet happy. but it's not placebo. And I can't even imagine what's going to happen after I do more treatments with this thing. It's the most amazing thing. And by the way, you'll hear me talk about, I use the LifeWave patches. If you don't know what those are, they are phototherapy patches, and I love them. They're great, but they don't do everything. And I think everybody, this is the thing, like, I am the truth teller for what the patches do. They're amazing, but they don't do everything. And one of my issues that I have had is I've had infections for a couple of years, and they're antibiotic resistant infections. And I am usually nauseous and I don't usually feel well. And a lot of times, if I am late for something, it's because I'm trying to do things to be able to function. And when you have things that affect you in that way, it affects your entire life. It affects how you feel. It affects whether you feel like you can leave your house. It affects whether you can work outside your home. It affects whether you feel like spending time with other people, because you don't I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced this. I was never a sick person in my entire life. Oh my gosh, there's so much dust just kicking around. This is probably part of the problem, by the way, with Alfie. Like, I don't know what's going on right now, but there's a windstorm outside and there's like dust and plastic bags blowing, and thank goodness I have 5 air filters going. But anyway, if you've ever experienced health issues, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because growing up, I played every single sport. I never had anything wrong with me. And then all of a sudden you do, and you can't really figure out why it is. And even, I think even worse is, like, beauty has always been my business. And maybe people don't like to hear about this. Like, maybe at some point I'll take down all the episodes where I ever talk about being sick. I'm not sure. But it's not something I talk about a lot, because sometimes I feel like when you talk about things, it makes them more real. And if you talk about being sick, then it means you're stay sick and you identify with it. But what I can say is it's extremely frustrating, but I believe, like all other things, that there's almost always a way out of everything. And so I got my ozone generator. I haven't even done that many treatments. And I felt a very small change. The first treatment that I did, I felt better for about 10 minutes. And about 2 years ago, I had an autoimmune flare, and things were never the same after that. It was the worst flare I've ever had. It affected my eyes. I didn't think I was going to survive it. It was awful. And ever since then, it never got better. And I saw my doctor. I did everything I was supposed to do. I got my blood work, and things stayed the same or got a little bit worse. Probably mostly stayed the same, but also got a little bit worse. I've done 4 or 5 treatments, and I'm having some of the best days that I've had in 2 years. And I am not putting down the patches. So if you guys know, I wear LifeWave, I sell LifeWave, I love LifeWave, but I'm very, very clear that they are not the be all end all, and they're not going to solve all your problems. And I've worn all the patches, and I've drank the water, and it did not change certain facets of how I was feeling. Do I think it was helpful? I do, but it wasn't going to, like knock out antibiotic resistant stuff. It just wasn't going to. And if you do research on ozone, you'll see that there's a lot of studies where ozone has done that. And so anyway, just wanted to say, so far, I'm so excited about it. It is really, really cool. And I don't think it's for everyone. Most people, I've already learned this, most people don't really care about solutions until they're almost past the point of the solutions helping them. And I think that's human nature. Like, most people don't really care about health. Like, most people that have good health, I'll tell them about the X39 patch, and they're like, yeah, but I don't really have any health problems. And here's the problem that I learned. A lot of times there's something brewing, and people just don't know it. And they wait until, and they get symptoms. They get things that are like little whispers telling them that they're probably going to get sick. And they kind of ignore it because they're like, this is just, puppy, come on. They go, this is just aging. This is just how it feels. And then it gets really bad. And then they start to try to do some things. So I always talk about these things because what I have learned, and I've learned this with my pets as well, is to do things before everything hits the fan, to do things before you are desperate. Like with Lola, looking back with Lola, I wish that I had done preventative ozone. I wish I had given her ozone to support her mitochondrial function, to take down her inflammation, to increase her body's ability, because this is what ozone can do, to increase her body's ability to oxygenate itself. For me, ozone isn't a magic cure. Ozone is something that encourages the body to do what it was meant to do better, which in a way, I think the LifeWave X39 patches also do a different form of that. But what's different about ozone is that it also is balancing the immune system. So, on one hand, maybe your immune system needs to work better so that it can fight infections. For instance, my immune system wasn't online at all. It wasn't fighting. There were certain levels that I forget the exact test, but it was supposed to be at like 2200 and it was at 100. It was out of gas. It wasn't fighting viruses. It wasn't fighting any kind of illness. So it was that. But then whatever part of it was online was also attacking my body. So when your immune system goes haywire, sometimes it's not fighting the things and can I explain why? No, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice, but I couldn't understand why my immune system was attacking me. I'm like, you're supposed to protect me, not attack my organs, not make my eyesight worse, not break my skin out, all of those things. But that's what was happening. So if I could do it over again with Lola, one, I would have found a really good integrative vet. And I would have started treatments for Lola way sooner. I waited and I did. Did I do all the good things? Did I feed her the best food? Lola ate ever more. Did she wear X39 patches at least 3 times a week? Yes. She got supplements. She got probiotics. She got fresh air, filtered water. I didn't put conventional flea medicines on her. She got dog massages. I mean, Lola got a lot of things, but I would have also done preventative ozone a few times a year on her. And that's something that I have learned. Come here, Poppy. Come on, honey. Come here. This is Lola's sister, by the way. I'm lucky enough that I still have her beautiful sister, Poppy. So just food for thought. I just share this because I know how much everybody loves their pets. And I know that when things happen, we look back and we would, when things start happening, we would do just about anything to save our pets. We would change anything and we get really creative and really like we want to fix stuff. But if you do have a pet, definitely look into one and you do you. Maybe you're not interested in holistic stuff. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I love my holistic vet. I love that she's conventional. So when I need my antifungals, if I need a surgery or a recommendation for a surgeon or, whatever I need, my vet can help me with. But it is really wonderful that she and her partner both know about. And when I say holistic, I will just say that holistic sounds so like we're just getting a bunch of tinctures all the time, and there's nothing wrong with tinctures. For me, holistic is just anything that didn't get approved by conventional medicine, that they're always going to say is experimental, that they're always going to push to the side. And what I have learned in my super nerd research, what I have learned in all of my reading, in just devouring books and trying to do better in my life for me and the pets, is a lot of times some of the best stuff is the stuff that will never ever get approved. And I can't exactly say why. I think that there's the people that make decisions there's a lot of money involved. That's one thing. I just don't always think that everything, they like to call things alternative that are extremely helpful. And I will just say there's a lot of alternative stuff that doesn't work. So it's very hard to piece it apart. But why ozone is still not on that list, like when the vet wouldn't pay for it, I'm sorry, not the vet, when the insurance company for my dogs wouldn't pay for ozone, it was just such an eye-opening experience. And that was when I really started researching it. Guys, if you are interested in knowing more, let me know. You guys are a really quiet crew, by the way. I love it when you guys tell me, like, if you're listening, do you have a dog? Do you like to listen to my show? Like, I would love it if you put it in the chat. I just love when I hear from you guys. When I don't, I always wonder. I mean, I'm always going to talk, I guess, and I'm going to talk about what I'm passionate about, whether anybody does like it or not. Um, I don't know. This stuff is so good. Like, I know people may not understand this. I'm doing you the biggest favor by talking about this, and you might not think so because you might think this is weird. I've never heard of it. You might never hear about it if I don't tell you about it. And everything that I tell you about it because I know it works. I tell you about it because it's amazing. And there's a million, maybe not a million, I get hundreds of emails every single month asking me to talk about products, asking me to talk about things. My voice and my channel are not for rent. My beliefs are always going to be true. And if I change my mind about something, I'll tell you about that too. I won't hold back on that. When I do the research for these products, I 100% ask them for a link so that if I share it and people buy it, yes, I make commission, because that is exactly, like, this is my entire business, is sharing things that I authentically use and love with other people. And I love it. Another thing I just wanted to show you guys, like, most people are not going to be getting ozone machines, and most people probably shouldn't. You might not even be able to figure, it might not be that important to you. Maybe your health is awesome, and I hope it is, because that is a absolute blessing. Oh, Janine, that makes me so happy. That's so awesome. And Janine, the thing is too, it's before they're sick. So the book that I read is by Jonathan Lowe, and I'm going to find it. So this is so funny. I read this whole book on ozone for pets because I was like, one, I'm going to understand it for my pets. And two, by understanding it for pets, I'm going to be able to read things about what it really does that some of the books for humans simply can't say. So I read this whole book, and I was actually speaking to the concierge for the ozone generator company, and the company is called Simply O3. And I was like, hey, I always give them feedback, and I was like, it would be really great if you guys actually included directions, because it's really confusing. And he was like, yeah, we're eventually going to do that. And I was like, and I literally worked with ChatGPT for a second, I said, can you just write down all the questions I asked you so that the company can answer them? So I sent him the questions, and I said, oh, and also I read this awesome book about ozone for animals. It's so good. And this is so fascinating. So the company that does ozone for animals is, I believe it's called O3 Vets, and O3 is just oxygen. So O3 is ozone. So there's O2, that's oxygen. O3 is ozone. Ozone is oxygen with another molecule. And when it goes into your body, it's able to give your body that oxygen and help your body oxygenate. It is so amazing. But anyway, it turns out that the owner of the pet company is the brother of the person that owns Simply O3. So there were 11 kids in their family. One of their brothers had cancer, and they did a deep dive into these machines, and it was so just fascinating stuff. And they have a lot of really good products for animals. And it says Juliet will be 4 next year, still dealing with it daily. It says, oh, I'm sorry, Juliet will be 4 next month, and I have spent a fortune in medical care on her, still dealing with it daily, and I adjust what I'm doing and feeling daily. That's so amazing, Janine. That is, like, absolutely incredible. I hope that all of the things that you're doing make a really big difference for her. And also, Janine, I mean, you have my contact, so feel free if you want to ask me anything too. But the ozone is so incredible. I mean, the book, by the way, on ozone for animals, they had instances of dogs that were so sick that they couldn't walk. And they got a couple of ozone treatments, and within a week to 2 weeks, the dogs were walking again. They had a dog that had an extremely aggressive, I think it was a kind of T cell cancer. I can't remember the name of it. I wish I could remember all the names. And the owner decided not to do chemotherapy and to do ozone instead. And the dog, I want to say it lived for it was a very aggressive form of cancer. It lived for another 2.5 or 3 years. It was already, I think, 4 years old, and it did not get chemotherapy, and it had a good quality of life. So, I mean, some of the things, and they can also do, this is so fascinating, for people and pets, they can do special ozone injections in the joints, which many people and pets have found to be as good as surgery, as helpful as surgery. Of course, they won't be covered probably by insurance, which is a big impediment for people, or impediment rather, but really interesting stuff. And just from like more consumer, because I know most people, may not, I'm going to still do my ozone treatments at the vet. So Alfie is probably going to go in on Friday for a treatment. He just had one Monday. Once we get him to maintenance, I'll do once a week for about a month, and then I'll probably do once a month. I'm also going to start getting Poppy some ozone treatments too. Poppy went deaf this year. She's Lola's sister. So we already know there's some mitochondrial dysfunction happening in Poppy, mitochondrial dysfunction, but aging creates mitochondrial dysfunction. I mean, it's like we know it's coming. So doing things, it's not going to stop everything. It couldn't stop Lola. I mean, I think it was beautiful that she enjoyed her end of life. I think it was beautiful that her appetite came back and she enjoyed herself and she lifted her head in her baby carriage. I wish I could have saved her. I think it gave me more time. And Lisa says, I have a 15-and-a-half-year-old Morkie. Oh my gosh, so cute. An 8-year-old golden doodle named Jojo. Jojo is my stepdaughter's name, by the way, who has allergies, and our 1-year-old Yorkie Coco. I have 2 8-year-old Himalayan Caesar and Koba who have feline herpes. Lisa, you are going to want to read that book. Read the book, Lisa. I will put it in the description later. The book is not in the description right now. Let me tell you, and you could probably get it as an audiobook too. I just like to read. I don't like listening to books. I just tune out, just how I am. But this book will you will be telling everybody about this book. I read everything except for the last 3 chapters, because some of the last 3 chapters were like about how to administer certain things or work it into your veterinary practice. My vet was so excited when I was like, I read the whole book on ozone, and she was so excited when I told her. So on top of it, I'm just going to show you guys something really quickly, but when Lola was passing, I was up a lot at night. My autoimmune stuff really flared. My face is one of the things that really shows it when my autoimmune stuff is flaring. And I started getting like weird breakouts and inflammation and bags, and it just wasn't looking good. So I also got this spray from the same company. And by the way, a link to the company is in the description, and my coupon code, it's only for 10% off, but it's Megan Graham in one word. This thing, okay, so it's glycine peptide spray. This is like a ozonated spray. Doesn't have a smell. There is no fragrance, and you just spray it on your face. My face has been itchy for about 3 weeks because I have, like, what don't I have? Sorry, guys, histamine issues, whatever. It was itchy. I was inflamed. As soon as I sprayed it on my face was not itchy anymore. And it was this whole big, it's like a big jar, this whole jar, or whatever it's called, spray bottle, sorry. it was $50, which for skincare is negligible. So my husband and I are both testing this out. I just took a before picture because yes, I have makeup on right now, so my skin looks a lot better. It was looking so rough. And it's so funny because on the bottle, which by the way, I can barely read bottles anymore. Has anybody ever gotten to that? Like, this is like when we start using our phones as flashlights. I am there. But it's so funny. So on the bottle itself, it says, according to the FDA, this facial mist absolutely does not work for dry skin, fine lines, dullness, or dehydration. If you experience benefit, it's a placebo effect. Isn't it funny what placebo effects can do? And I just thought that that was like the best thing I'd ever seen. But if you look at the reviews online about what people are reporting with their skin and the skin spray, which is literally $50. I used to work at Saks. Like, that's sorry, but that's just so inexpensive. Anyway, people are experiencing incredible results with it. So I'm excited to share that. I know that for most people, they're just general consumers that probably are not going to get ozone machines. But for folks like me that are not getting relief, that have, autoimmune disease or other, I mean, even, and I'm not claiming certain things, but many people have used it for many other things. And there's a very famous integrative cancer doctor. I think it's, forget her first name, but it's Dr. Keneally at the Center for New Age Medicine. She's a huge proponent of ozone therapy when she's working with people that have cancer. So I like to do all the things that I would do if I had it now, because there's just a lot of things that are good for you. So those are kind of all the things that I'm doing, and I'm excited to report back and tell you guys what happens. But my loose plan, by the way, is to do the 21 treatments, so the 3 weeks straight of ozone, and then hopefully get on a plane if Alfie is well enough, go see my mom back east for a couple of days, and then my mom and I would drive to pick up the new puppy, and the puppy and I would fly back to Arizona. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that in about 15 days. We'll see how it goes. I would appreciate everybody's prayers for Alfie because I just don't know exactly why this is happening for him, but he's very peppy. He's relaxed right now. If you guys could see his little face, it's so beautiful. And last thing, which isn't about ozone or anything like that, I don't feel the same way about this puppy and its arrival as I did when I was getting Lola. So when I was getting Lola, I just remember like every night I hadn't just lost a dog. And so it was different. And every night I would get ready and research, and I had like baby blankets for her and a little bassinet and a playhouse and all this stuff. And this puppy has felt a little bit different. And it doesn't mean that I won't love him, but I am getting a puppy pretty soon after Lola passed. And sometimes it's like a different feeling. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting this puppy. And I will love him. I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just, I'm very honest about how I feel. But last night I decided to get him a little harness, and I decided to be really extra. I just wanted something to like brighten up the past 3 weeks. I'm totally dealing with it. And as you guys can tell, I always have good spirits, even if I'm sad. It's like, I just try my best to be appreciative for what I have. But it's been a hard few weeks with losing Lola and then also having Alfie be sick. And so I got a really cute little, if you know Susan Lancey, she makes really cute little harnesses and things. And I got the cutest little matching leash and harness set. And it's, even though he's a boy, it has a bow on it and little sparkles on the bow. And I'll actually, just in case you guys want to see, I just needed something to add. And did I show you? And if you'd like to see him, this is our new baby. We're not sure if his name is going to be Remy or we might name him. We were thinking about something else too. I forget the other name. Bo. My husband wanted to name him after Bo Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard. We're not totally sure on his name yet. I also wanted to name him Sprinkles, and my husband said absolutely not. But he's going to be very cute. And by the way, if anybody, like if any, I don't usually let people know who my dog person is, just because I don't want just everybody in the world off the internet to know who she is. But I think last I checked, she had one or two female puppies available. So if anybody does wish to write me privately, and you're a really good dog person and you love Yorkies and you're not getting one as an accessory and you are prepared to get a dog for life, that's going to be like your life, your life buddy, feel free to email me, and I can share that info. But anyway, that's just my little happy thing. I did get a little harness, and I'm also so excited to see my mother. She is 81 years old, and I haven't seen her in a year and a half, which is a really long time for me, because I wasn't going to travel when Lola was sick. And obviously, I'm not going to travel until Alfie's better. Janine says, I love Susan Lancey merchandise. My house is full of her beds. I think her merchandise is so beautiful, and it's so soft and nice. And I went back and forth because, puppies are only puppies for a little while, and then they grow up and the things don't fit them anymore. But I realized that what I could do is, once it doesn't fit him, I can donate it to my vet's office. And when somebody has a puppy, it will be in perfect condition, and they can give it to someone for their new puppy. I bet you somebody will be excited to have it. I could also do like a little giveaway on my YouTube or something like that, because someone's always getting a puppy, and I don't always know what to do with my dog stuff when my dogs outgrow it. So the last thing I just wanted to say about Susan Lancey, and sorry, this one's so long, and I did talk about ozone, and I've been trying so hard to stick to one subject, but there's intertwining things happening. So also, Susan Lancey was so nice because I placed my order, and they had where if you placed your order, you could get a free little hair bow. And so it kept prompting me to put the hair bow in, and then it wasn't giving it to me for free. And I was like, geez, I don't really want to spend any extra money. So I wrote them today and said, I kept trying to check out and get the free hair bow that you were showing, but for some reason it wouldn't let me. I'd love it if you could include it in the order. And they said that it's because I guess that whatever that promotion was, it had just ended. So I guess it was the computer was having trouble doing that, but they were like, we'll just send it to you and honor that. So I just wanted to say they were so nice about that. I feel like so many times you reach out to companies and they're just not helpful at all. They wrote me back right away. They had such nice customer service, and I'm so excited. The little harness makes me so excited. And I meant to show you all a picture, and didn't I just forget right away? So this is the little harness that I got for him, and that's the color, and that's the little bow. It looks exactly like my pageant dress that I like, the color and the rhinestones that I wore for Miss Massachusetts USA. It's like the exact same feel. So anyway, it's always so nice to see you guys. I will put that link in there for the book about ozone. It's so good. And I'll also, I should put a link in too for the website that has products for animals. Guys, they have ozonated shampoo. They have, I think, ozonated kind of like skin creams and all kinds of products. This stuff is amazing. It is non-toxic, and it is absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to share it with you. I hope that when I learn something, I know this is going to help my future baby. I know I don't have any guarantees that he will live for any longer than Lola lived, but I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to do everything that I can to take slightly better care of every single animal that I have than I did the last time. And trust me, you guys know I took great care of them, but I'm going to make it even better every single time. Oh, and the last thing, I am able to use my ozone generator for breathing treatments for Alfie. I run the ozone through olive oil, which makes it so you actually can safely breathe it. And he's able to breathe that in. And it's actually a very good antimicrobial treatment. So I talked to the vet. She told me how to do it. And so I can use it a little bit on them. I just don't want to use it for some of the more veterinary things because I don't feel comfortable doing it. So it was so nice to see you guys. Janine, thank you so much for hopping into the chat, and Lisa too. I really appreciate that. It always just, it's not that you guys have to, but I love it when you do, because it feels so much nicer when I just get to chat with you a little bit. It just reminds me that I'm not just here talking to myself, and also I hope, it inspires you with something for your pets. And I hope you guys are really healthy. Hope your pets are really healthy too. And don't forget to take care of yourselves before you have a health issue, because trust me, you'll be happy about it. Stay healthy and beautiful, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. I really, really appreciate it.